Excellent. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about Trimble Works Manager. We'll do an introduction to this new product. Works Manager has been in development for quite some time, and it's really exciting that just last week we were able to make it available to the public. And during that time, there's been a lot of beta testing and partner use and a lot of behind the scenes action going on. And so we're really excited now to be able to open it up to you guys, the customers. Here today, you have me, Dwayne Gleason, near Washington, D.C. as the program manager for Connected Construction in Trimble. And then you have Brian Sweeney, the product manager for Works Manager, as well as Lisa Craig, both in our Westminster, Colorado office. Brian's going to give you a presentation today, probably last about 45 or 50 minutes. We want to make sure to leave enough time for questions at the end. To that end, if you do have any questions during the presentation, go ahead and enter them into the Q&A session of Zoom. Please do try and get in the Q&A and not necessarily the chat, and then in that way, we'll make sure to round up all the questions at the end and make them available on one of our platforms. But like I said, we'll do our best to leave enough time to go over them during the session and discuss anything that comes up. So with that, Brian, we can see your screen, and I'd say go ahead and take it away.
Great. Thanks, Dwayne. So today what we're going to do is cover an introduction of Works Manager. We're going to talk about what it is, how it works, and the subscription packages that are available. We'll also dive into a little bit more information about some of the high-level features that are offered. This is meant to be a high-level overview of Works Manager, and then the session that will follow next week will be more of a deep dive introduction to the actual product. So today, as far as the introduction and where this product fits in the continuum or the construction continuum that Trimble refers to quite a bit. We're in the execute construction phase. So this is when you're prepping the model, getting the data into a constructible mode. You'll go ahead and send that data to the machine. So this is the act of sending the designs to the machines, the data collectors, those types of activities, as well as remoting in, seeing the operator's display, as along with streaming the IBSS corrections. So this is where the Works Manager fits into the construction continuum. So this is a new product. It was just released last week, and it's designed to be the data hub that connects the civil contractors to the critical information they need to get the job done right the first time. So we're going to open it up to a couple questions just to get an idea of where everybody's at. And the first one here is, have you seen a demo of Trimble Works Manager before? It looks like quite a few people have responded here. So we'll go ahead and show the poll here. So it looks like maybe about a quarter, a little over a quarter of you have seen this before. So that helps us kind of understand where everybody's at. And then we'll go ahead and close this and share the results. So we saw it looks like 34% of you have seen this before. And then the next question we have here, is are you a Trimble customer, a Trimble partner like a SciTech dealer, or a Trimble employee? Yeah, we'll share that. So it looks like we've got a decent mix there all around. So we'll share those results. This just helps give us an idea of where everybody's at. Okay, and the next thing that I want to do here is we've put together a marketing video that's really nice. So we're going to show the marketing video just to give everybody kind of an idea of who this product's for.
Dave is a busy guy. As a site manager for large construction projects, Dave has to maximize every second of his day. Unfortunately, Dave spends most of his time driving from job site to job site. As you can imagine, That can get old pretty quick. If only he could spend as much time managing as he does commuting. Trimble Works Manager is the data hub that allows Dave to connect with everyone from managers to operators on any device, wherever they are, from one location, bringing civil contractors the critical information they need in an instant. With Audit Trail, Dave knows exactly who did what, when, and where, every step of the way. And if something's not right, he can take care of it without leaving his desk. Works Manager by Trimble simplifies the management process and helps Dave finish the job on time and on budget, so he can focus on what's really important. Adopting Works Manager is easy. Contact your SciTech dealer today.
All right. So the marketing department's done a great job putting that video together. I've met a number of Daves while I've been working on this product, so it really captures who we're targeting. It's that person that's driving around, delivering designs, trying to make sure everybody's running the current stuff, making sure everybody's machine is set up correctly, and I'm sure you're all familiar with those people. So now we're going to dive into a little bit about what Works Manager is. So the pain points that we're trying to solve for the civil contractor is exactly what we saw in the video. It's that person that's having to drive, drive between the office and the field to deliver designs and troubleshoot issues that are going on the machines. That's really where we see a lot of return on investment, and where people really see the payback on this product is the amount of time that they save driving around. We're also able to help people understand where their asset is, what they're working on. That's some of the new features that we're offering that were not available in the Trimble Connected community. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We also want to make sure that we're reducing the costly mistakes that happen when people are using the wrong design. So we want to make sure that we're providing the good feedback on making sure everybody understands which designs are being used in the field. And then we also offer our remote assistance features that allow people from the office to remote in and troubleshoot and help people that are using either the data collectors and or the machine control systems. So the key features, this seamless transfer of data between the office and the field. So this is sending designs to the field and then getting the as-built data back from the field. You're also able to see what your team is doing, making sure that everybody is running on the same design. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Making sure that everybody has the latest design. So location updates on the machines are coming in every 30 seconds, so we'll know exactly where that machine is, as well as every 5 minutes we're getting an update on the design that's being run. And then we've also got our remote assistance features and the internet base station service that extends the range of our base stations. And this has all been integrated and is part of the Trimble Connected site. So the reason that people are choosing Works Manager, there's the cost savings, reducing the drive time, getting the designs out to the field quickly and efficiently. And then it's the smart, intuitive software that makes it easy to understand which designs are being run and where these assets are working. And then also being able to remotely support people out in the field. And then it's also giving everybody the confidence that what has been sent out to the field is actually being run, and making sure that people can make better decisions knowing what's going on out on the field. So we've joined the Works product family, and so this was really exciting. We're starting to see a lot more marketing around the Earthworks, Siteworks, Groundworks systems, and Works Manager is all part of that. So the Works product family is going to begin, you're going to be seeing a lot more of a integration between these different products. And over the last year and a half, we've seen a lot of collaboration between the hardware and the software, and you're going to see a lot more of that in the future. So now we're going to dive into how it works. We've kept this to pretty much 6 simple steps where there's the concept of creating a project, you create a design, you'll publish that design to the project, you'll add devices to the project, and then you'll manage and monitor your project, making sure that everybody is running the correct design and is working where they should be. And then you'll also be able to remotely support operators in the field. The first thing that you're going to see when you sign into Works Manager is probably a blank screen if this is the first time you've been in the product. And from here, you'll go ahead and create a design. Excuse me, you'll go ahead and create a project. So this is step 1, and it's a 3-step process. So you'll select your account. Most often, if you're a customer, you'll have one account. Trimble people or dealer people may have multiple accounts, but you'll select the account and then give the project a name, go ahead and draw a boundary, and then you'll upload your configuration files. And these configuration files consist of like your site calibration, geoids, control points, avoidance zones, feature codes, things like that. These are the typical things that tend to get emailed around a lot on a project, and it's very easy to get these things kind of mixed up. And what we're doing here is now providing a source of truth, a point where all of this data is fed and fed from. So there's no reason anybody should be working off the wrong calibration or not have the right control points. Step 2 is creating a design. There's a couple ways to do this. Most often people are in Trimble Business Center generating these designs for the machine control and data collectors. The same workflow applies, that you'll go ahead and create the design. There's a couple different ways to do that. What you'll want to do is then export that design and make sure it's saved locally on your hard drive. And then from there, you'll go ahead and upload the design and publish the design to the project. So for step 3, you're creating a design in Works Manager. So you go to the design page, add a design. You'll select whether it's a machine control design or a data collector design. And from there, you can upload the different file types for that design. So that'll include surfaces, line works, stakeout points, things like that can all be added to the design, and then those get published. And we're basically supporting the 2 machine control designs and data collector designs right now, and over time we'll enhance that and improve it as we get drilling and piling designs and other designs supported in the ecosystem. So from there, you'll publish it to the project, and that will then basically be associated with that project. So any device that's associated with that project, that's a machine control device or a data collector device, will have access to that design. And as you're going through your project, you'll always have changes. You'll need to make updates to the design. And to do that, you'll use the edit design workflow. You'll edit the design. The design stays, the name stays the same, but then we'll version the design and keep track of who made the change, and always give everybody access to download those previous designs. So you'll have a full record of what happened and an audit trail. So if you ever need to go back and figure out when the design was changed or what caused the design change, you'll be able to access that previous design and do some troubleshooting there. So a nice feature to keep everything organized and managed in one central location. Step 4 is adding a device to the account. So there's basically 2 things that we have to do here. There's the concept of adding the device to your account, which is what will happen when you first purchase a brand new device. So once that device is added to your account, then you can go ahead and add the device to the project. So there's kind of two steps here. You're adding it to the account just like you have before in Trimble Connected Community. Then once that device is added to your account, it can be added to a project. And there's kind of 2 ways that a device can get added to a project. You can manually add it, like I'm showing here in the screenshot, and that consists of selecting add, and then you select the devices that you want to add to the project. Or what you can do, if you've got an Earthworks or a SiteWorks device, you can turn that device on inside the project boundary, and that device will automatically be added to the project if your account owns the device and owns the project boundary, which is a nice feature. The idea there is that you don't have to always know exactly where your devices are. The devices can move around from project to project, and as soon as they turn on inside a known project boundary, the designs will be available for that device. So these are the different device models that we support today. So we've got the Earthworks devices, the GCS 900 machine control devices, the older machine control devices, as well as the SiteWorks and SCS 900 data collector devices. And we'll be adding additional devices over the next few months. There's quite a bit of work targeted to do groundworks and then start supporting some of these other devices that customers have been asking for. So do know that we'll constantly be adding new devices. These are just the ones that we've gone out with our first initial release. Step 5 is managing and monitoring your project. So you'll end up with a map view and you'll be able to see your device. And basically you're looking to make sure your devices are green, meaning that they are running, they're turned on and they're running a current design that the system knows about. And what we're going to do is the design is not a current design or not a design that the system knows about. We'll go ahead and turn that icon yellow and just indicate that this is this device out in the field, it's turned on and it's running a, either an outdated design or an unknown design. So this way people can understand exactly who's doing what and where they're working. And this is just a screenshot of SiteWorks. You can see that there's a little icon or crosshairs in building 2, and then that's where the device is reporting. And then often as the project goes on, you may need to remote in and do some troubleshooting. We're supporting the same remote assistant features and functionality that were available in TCC. So with Earthworks, you can remote into the technician's web UI. And with the older GCS 900 and SCS 900 devices, you can use the legacy, I'll call it Firefox remote assistance workflow. I will mention that we are working on improving the remote assistant features and functionality, and we should have some updates in the coming months to make this even more seamless. We understand right now that there are a couple issues here and there with a remote assistant on the older devices, but we are looking at improving that and doing some work there. So just be aware that we understand that remote assistant is a very key and important feature with this product, and we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes right now to better support our customers and dealers with this feature. When it comes to the supported field software, you do have to have some current versions of Earthworks and SiteWorks. Now, these versions that support Works Manager have been out for probably about a year now. So most people have updated and are running version on the Earthworks side. You know, they need to be above 1.7 or higher, and on SiteWorks 1.03 and higher. So we haven't, lately I haven't seen too many people running older versions. So just be aware that if you do want to see the location updates and get the status updates, you do need to be running one of the current versions of these devices. So with Earthworks, you get location updates every 30 seconds and a status update every 5 minutes. Location is just giving us you know, an X and Y location on a really frequent basis, but the status update will tell us a whole bunch of things about the device, like the serial number, the firmware, what design it's running, and everything that's attached to that system. So those come in less frequently, but are still at a pretty decent update rate. Then if we go over to the older field software devices like the GCS 900 and SCS 900 devices, if you do turn on what we call the office to field mapping service, otherwise known as the 3D Vision Link service, you can get location updates. You do not have to have a Vision Link subscription for this to happen, but you do need to be connected to the internet. So if you do turn on that, you can get location updates on your GCS devices, and that'll include what design that device is running and where the device is. So pretty useful on the GCS side. We've seen a lot of people playing with this feature so far. And on the SCS 900, you can still send and receive designs to these devices, but they're not providing any location or status updates. So just be aware of that. The location and status messaging, what are these? as I mentioned before, the location messages are going to come in every 30 seconds, and they're available on Earthworks, Siteworks by default. And then you do have to do a little bit of work to get the GCS 900s to report in, and it's just a matter of turning on a couple features on the control box. So those are going to come in. As they come in, the device will move around on the map without any auto refreshing. It's pretty cool to see your assets working and where they're at, and that's pretty seamless. On the status message side, these are the messages that are coming in, and they have a whole bunch of information in it. It's kind of like a mini Z-Snap, where the Z-Snap is kind of a snapshot of what's on the box. It's not as detailed, but it does have a lot of good information that people can do some troubleshooting on without having to get onto the box. So it'll tell you the app version, what serial number it is, the asset name and type and all that information, as well as what design it's running. And these updates are coming in every 5 minutes. This is just a screenshot of what the GCS 900 system looks like. So I was out pushing our little cart in the parking lot here, and I got some screenshots of this is where my cart was, and as well as showing the dot on the map there. As far as the software highlights go, I just want to cover a few things that we want to highlight and mention. The first one being that we've got better Earthworks project support. So before in Trimble Connected Community, the behavior was for the Earthworks machine control devices that every device was going to get every design from every project in the account. And so that's been loading up the boxes quite a bit and causing a lot more data on the boxes than there needs to be. And I know that we've heard that operators will get confused or have trouble selecting the project that they're on and that type of stuff because they've got so many projects in their device. With Works Manager, what we've got set up now is that the device is only going to see projects and designs that it's associated with. So in the example over on the right, you're seeing that there's a dozer, an excavator, and a motor grader, and they're on 3 different projects, and they've only got designs for the projects that they're on. They don't have all the other designs. And so this is really helpful for large companies that have assets that are spread across lots of projects in lots of regions. You can have everything set up in the same account and not overload these devices with designs and projects that are unnecessary. We have come out with a very nice mobile-friendly version of Works Manager, so it's built in on a responsive layout way, so it shows up nicely on desktop, tablets, and mobile devices. So I encourage everybody to bookmark this on their home screen and jump onto the mobile device. It's really nice to be able to change a password or do something like that on your phone without having to break out your laptop like you used to have to do with Trimble Connected Community. As far as the layout goes, I put this in because it kind of helped me understand how we were approaching the UI. Basically, you've got a top header bar. This is going to be the glue that holds the products together in the future. For now, it's a very simple. You've got your logo and then access to information and then your accounts. You've got the navigation panel over on the left that helps you navigate through the website with content in the center. And then you've got an info panel that will slide in and out. So a lot of the features and functionality have all been built around this to make it very simple. And then as you move down through the different mobile devices, this is just showing how the panels kind of slide in and out. The project pages and the account pages are 2 separate areas, and basically what you've got is you've got your account that is your entire fleet, all your users, all your projects, your base stations, and then your company details. And then you've got a project, so the project is a filter of that with a geofence and design. So you're able to then see your devices that are just inside that geofence, see designs that are associated with that geofence, and basically they're 2 separate areas. The projects are all indicated by kind of that darker purple color, And then on the account side, it's a gray on the navigation panel. So you'll have to kind of pay attention to this as you move between your projects. Are you dealing with adding a new device or adding a person to your company, or are you dealing with a project? So just be aware of the two different sections of the website. And then we've got the ability to add projects and members to your account. So adding an account user is very simple. You'll just invite them, type in their email and send them an invite. And then on the accounts page, you'll be able to see what your role is on the project and which projects you have access to. Over on the accounts page, this is I put this in here just because some people have been asking how to get to the accounts page. You'll want to select your profile icon in the upper right, select accounts, and then that will open up the accounts page with the navigation panel. And this is where you can get to your project, your company details, all your projects, your users, and devices. We've added support for the internet base station service, and that's all found under the accounts pages as well. We've got the connection history report and the ability to see which devices are connected to your base station, as well as the correction stream and whether the base station is up or not. So very similar features to what we had in Trimble Connected Community. This has been a lift and shift of those features and functionality. So we haven't added anything new, but we've kind of cleaned up the UI and just integrated it into our workflow here in Works Manager. As far as the project pages go, same navigation panel over on the left that lets you kind of go in and out of your different applications or different features that you need to get to. On the project device page, you can add devices that have been added to your account. So we've talked about that a little bit prior. So you'd go ahead and select the add, and from there you can manually add devices to your account. Or if the device is turned on and reporting inside the project boundary, it's going to automatically associate itself with the project. On the design management, we've covered quite a bit of that already, but this is where you can see multiple designs. You see the version of the design, and you can edit and update the designs and then ship them out to all the devices on the field. We added the ability to show the software warranty information on the SiteWorks devices and the SCS 900 devices, and we're now working on doing that same thing for GCS and Earthworks. So with this, you can see what software you're currently running, and then we'll flag it, turn it yellow if it's a version that's out of date, and let you know that, hey, this software is out of date, as well as your warranty. We'll also be offering reports in the coming months to be able to run a report to figure out which devices are out of warranty and which devices may need extended warranties, that type of thing. When we talk about where you can learn more about the product, by going to the website, and we'll be sharing this presentation with everyone who's attended, you'll get these links, but you can go to construction.trimble.com to find out more information about it, as well as worksmanager.com, and we'll also have information on where to get the product and where to buy it. The other thing that you're going to find on the homepage is a return on investment calculator that's been added. So I can show that as well here. If you go to worksmanager.com, you can click on this calculator here and play around and just see what type of return on investment you may see based off of how many machine control units and data collector units you have, the number of designs per month you're sending to these devices, travel time. So you enter a few things here, and then you can press calculate, and you can see the return on investment that this product could offer you. And then we also have added a file flipper widget on this homepage that will let you flip files online. So you just put in the project name, and you can let us know if you need to convert a file format from the older GCS 900 machine control formats to the newer Earthworks machine control formats. You upload your information and then download it. So it's a nice little application that we offer as well. So if we jump back here, I think we're almost done with most of these slides. We wanted to also mention that we've got more of a technical deep dive training next week on October 3rd that we encourage everybody to register. This will be where we dive into the product a little bit more and basically show everybody how to create projects, how to upload designs and do that type of stuff. This will be on the 3rd, so make sure you watch for emails about this, and we'll be sharing out the registration information with everybody who attended this session as well. So with that, I know we finished maybe a little bit early here, but it sounds like there's probably a handful of questions that we'll be able to run through and have a discussion about the product and where it's headed. So we'll now open it up for questions.
All right, Brian. Well, we do have a couple of them. The first of which comes from Lasse, and he wants to know, is there a version, is there a cutoff which the version of GCS is supported? So how far back in the GCS product line does it support?
Yeah, so any GCS system that can talk to TCC, the Trimble Connected Community, is supported, which I think takes us, I'd have to go back and find out what version, but I know it goes back through at least 12.6 and probably even before that. And then any version that can write out tag files. So I can get some information to find out what versions those two things were introduced. So it will go back quite a bit. I don't believe that CB430s are supported. It's just the 450s and 460s that had supported TCC and Vision Link tag files.
Okay.
But we can get the exact versions.
Okay. Maybe while you're doing that, another bit of follow-up from Lasse is if you could find out the recommended firmware versions that go along with GCS 900 that wouldn't cause an issue with tag file.
Yeah, so we've been told that 12.7 or higher is a build where we don't have any issues with tag files that build up and overload the box when they're not connected to the internet. So I think we'll go ahead and put a little bit more information out and make it available for people to help answer some of these questions on our site. Okay.
And then Philip had a question about sharing across organizations. So the scenario where he's got Works Manager, but then he brings a subcontractor on site, wants to know if they would need their own Works Manager or if he can get them involved in his somehow.
Yeah, so the plan that we're working towards is allowing different companies to work together on the same project, and that would allow a subcontractor with Works Manager to come on to a larger general contractor's project that also has Works Manager, and then let those two companies work together on the same project. If that project has a base station associated with it, then they could both share that internet base station service. So that would take care of the partnering features that we don't currently have. That is being developed, and it should be out by the end of the year. We're not positive on the exact delivery date yet. We're still trying to figure out where it fits into the backlog and the priority, but it is something that we have plans for, and that's how we'll be supporting that partnering workflow, is by allowing companies to partner on a project.
Okay, excellent. Well, Robert would like to know if Works Manager supports work orders similar to TCC.
Yeah, so next week we'll be releasing the ability for a device to download, or for a user to download a work order from the cloud. So by selecting the device, you'll be able to see the work orders associated with that device and then download those work orders. From there, the work order can be dragged and dropped into Business Center or used in another application. We don't currently support creating the work order. If anybody is creating work orders in the office and then sending them to the field, that's something that we do not support yet. It is on the roadmap, but what we heard that most customers are doing is they're sending the designs to the field, and then the people in the field are creating the work orders and then sending those back. So we do support that workflow starting next week, and that should be released on Wednesday or Thursday of next week. And so we'll have some information about that on the homepage. When you log in, you'll be able to get some more information about that feature. We know it's been highly requested. We just finished most of the work up, and now it's going to get released to production here soon. Same thing with the recorded point files from the GCS and Earthworks devices as well. You'll be able to download those.
Excellent. Well, as a follow-up to the last question about partnering, I wanted to let you know, Brian, Phil did ask if maybe you could fit something about that into next week's demonstration.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about how how somebody that needs to partner can potentially work around the lack of partnering today in Works Manager with being able to partner in TCC, and then work together on the project in Works Manager. I'll have to take a look at how that might work. We do know that if you've got a partner, a base station or something like that, you do need to go through the existing legacy TCC workflow. And I should point out that with Works Manager, TCC is staying up and running side by side, so you can continue using TCC and introduce Works Manager onto a project as long as that project name is the same as the project name in Business Center and on your controllers and devices. The data from Works Manager will flow into that file folder structure, and somebody out in the field, when they do a data sync, they'll be able to see designs from TCC or from our older system as well as from the newer system. Now, one thing I should point out is that the designs from the older system are not known to Works Manager. So every design that you want to manage through Works Manager needs to come through Works Manager as a new design. And it's pretty easy. We've had a lot of customers set up a number of existing projects, give them the correct name, and then refeed their designs through Works Manager, and they've been pretty happy so far. So it definitely is something that that you gotta practice on a project or two with. And if you are partnering, we probably need to work directly with you a little bit to understand your needs and make sure that we can accommodate the partnering workflows as well.
Okay. Moving on, one of the questions is about the as-built workflow and what may exist in Works Manager for that.
Yeah, so currently the only as-built really workflows that we have today will be the ability to download point files from the machine control systems and work orders from the data collectors. You'd be able to download those and then upload them into Business Center. Now we are interested in looking at being able to display some of that stuff on the map as well, but primarily now it's a matter of collecting the data through the cloud and then letting people download and upload into products like Business Center. We will be offering access to tag files in the future. It'll be through the same workflow. Right now, you can only access these recorded point files and work orders, but you'll also eventually be able to access your tag file data, and that's the VisionLink as-built data as well. So it's more of accessing that and not visualizing it on the screen, but we do have a desire to eventually visualize it on the screen as well on the map view.
Awesome. We actually answered 2 questions with 1 response there because someone in the queue was curious if there was a VisionLink workflow that was going to come out of this. So hopefully the person who asked that got the answer they wanted. Rory is curious is IBSS required to get the full features of the product, or can you use a regular radio?
You can use a regular radio. The correction source is not a requirement to see assets on the map or anything like that, or using IBSS is not a requirement at all. It's just an added feature that if you want to connect your base station to the internet and stream it to multiple projects, we do support that feature. So this was kind of a carryover from TCC. We've got quite a few customers that are using IBSS today, and so it was to ensure that people don't have to go back into TCC to manage things. So no, you don't have to use IBSS for the other parts of Works Manager to work. Okay.
In that same vein, someone is curious if you can access Works Manager through the CAT product link PL742, or if the SNM is required.
So the new product link devices, and I don't, when I was dealing with this a few months ago, I heard it was only on the new next-gen excavators, and I believe it was the PL7 series box that was mentioned. I don't know the exact numbers, but yes, through that box that I think is on excavators, and I heard a rumor that it might even be on dozers now, that Caterpillar box will talk to the Trimble endpoints. And it will talk to TCC, which is basically the endpoint that we're working through. We've built Works Manager in a way that any device that can talk to TCC can get data on and off, in and out of Works Manager. So as long as that device can talk to Trimble Connected Community, yes, it is supported. And I believe they're supporting that on the next gen excavators, and I heard a rumor that might be on the dozers as well, but I'd have to get confirmation from Caterpillar on which devices or which what series box is supported. So we'll get some information on that as well.
Okay, sounds fair. Philip is asking a question about what kind of reads like a field-to-field workflow. So for example, if he goes out and he measures the existing ground and wants to get it to Earthworks as a design, is that something that Works Manager would be involved with?
Yeah, there's probably a couple steps that the user would have to do. So as they measure the existing ground with a topo survey, they would then send that back through Works Manager with a sync. That work order would get downloaded and probably uploaded into, let's say, Business Center. From Business Center, you could generate a surface and then send it back out through Works Manager. But I think the workflow that Philip might be referring to, or the desire, is to be able to create a surface and then ship it out to the other devices on the project without having that step through Business Center. We are interested in being able to support a design coming from the field and then converting that into a quote project design in Works Manager and then shipping that design back out to other devices. That workflow is not in place yet on the devices. The devices are not always sending us back the field design yet. So we're in discussions with them to better manage the in-field designs and get those sent back to us, and then we can ship those back out without the step through Business Center. So we are looking at that, but in the interim, you would have to create the surface, send it up through Works Manager, get it into Business Center, pump out another surface, and then ship it back through Works Manager, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it looks like Philip's got some clarifications in here. No, but if you measure it in SES 900 as a surface and export it to Earthworks design, that is possible today. If that makes sense to you, Brian, I say go ahead and answer it. If not, then maybe take it offline with Philip.
Yeah, right now we don't have the ability to take that design that's exported from SiteWorks or SCS 900 and flip it back out and send it to all devices. I think what he's describing there is more of a manual in field that they can create the design and then load it onto the machine next to them with a USB stick. We do want to eventually support being able to send that design into the cloud and then ship it out to all devices through Works Manager, but that's not supported yet. We are aware of this requirement, and there's been a number of people asking for it. So it is definitely on our backlog and something we want to support in the future.
Excellent. Well, we got the last question here. So if anyone else has anything on their mind, now's the time to get it out there. This one also comes from Lasse. It's a little bit nuanced, so I'll probably read it verbatim, but it says, if you create a project in Works Manager with a name that matches the TCC project, will that update the project to a Works Manager project, or do you need to remove it completely from TCC? And what would happen when it is already on a number of machines?
Yeah, so I would recommend not removing the project from TCC. The way to work with an existing project that's already in TCC that you want to be associated with Works Manager is to name that Works Manager project the same project name. And when that happens, what we're doing is writing out all the designs from Works Manager into that existing project folder that everybody already has on their devices. So on their SiteWorks devices and even in their Earthworks project library, all of those project names, as long as they're the same, you know, same characters and everything, you know, you have to get the exact same text in there. As long as the text is the same, we will use that same file folder structure that already exists. So it's important to make sure the name is the exact same. And if it is, then basically what's happening is through TCC, you can feed in designs to that same file folder. And then through Works Manager, you would do the same. So you would feed those designs into that exact same file folder on the device. When the person syncs, they'll see designs from TCC as well as designs from Works Manager. Now, over time, people will stop using TCC and the designs will always be coming from Works Manager. And that kind of gets into what I was discussing before. If you want to manage anything in Works Manager, it has to come through Works Manager for the first time. So the design needs to be uploaded through Works Manager if you want to ever delete or edit that design. And once you've put that design in through Works Manager, you've got control over it in Works Manager and you shouldn't have to go into TCC. But we know that there's plenty of people that run their business with TCC workflows today. So they're going to continue that until they have confidence and have tested this on a number of projects. And then eventually they'll be moving all of their workflows into Works Manager.
Okay. Seems like Lasse is appreciative of the answer, but he does have one clarification. So you can use Works Manager to clean the machines for old projects by creating them in Works Manager with matching names and delete or remove the devices if he understands correctly.
Yeah, I have not tested using Works Manager as a cleanup for old projects, but I don't see why that wouldn't work, because we have done some tests and creating a project and adding files and folders, even if I'm adding them through TCC, when I go and do a cleanup, it does seem to delete or remove that project. So I'd like to do a little bit more testing on that before I confirm that, but I don't see any reason why that workflow wouldn't work. It's a very creative way to clean up those old devices, and we've had a number of customers asking us, you know, how do we get old data off of these control boxes cleaned up through Works Manager, and my answer has always been you really can't. You got to clean it up through the old workflows. But I actually think that workflow might be a winner on how to clean it up. I'll do some more testing and then be able to follow up with everybody on that. but I
Nice.
think that would work.
Nice. And then the last question that we have so far comes in from Tyler, and he wants to know, do you have to manually upload from SES 900 devices to Works Manager, or is it an automatic sync?
SCS and SiteWorks do not support automatic sync yet. So you do have to manually trigger the sync. It's the same workflow as it's always been with those devices. We have had a number of requests for auto sync at a project level, and even auto sync at an account level on those devices, but I don't know where they're at with implementing something like that on the device side, but I'll bring that up during our coordination meetings and have a discussion about that as well. So today, yeah, it's a manual sync from the operator each time.
Cool. All right, well, that gets us through all of the questions today, and that does include the first Works Manager introduction. Great job, Brian. And I would just remind everyone that we're going to have another session again next week in which Brian will do the demo. So he'll be getting in a little bit more into the product and the workflows and all that kind of stuff. Same bat time, same bat channel. So please join us for that. And then also remember that Works Manager is super easy to get into. So if you just go to worksmanager.com today, right now, you can start to get in there, play around with it a little bit yourself if you can't wait until next week. But yeah, thank you everyone very much for joining us today. Thank you for the good engagement and questions. Thank you, Brian, for the presentation. And we'll catch everyone next week.
Great, thanks, Dwayne.
Cheers.